So I need some way of elevating the marbles from down here to somewhere up here. And I came up with this marble pump originally. That mechanism was originally invented by my brother in 1996, and it's based on a piston that just rotates around. It's a bit bulky and complicated, so I experimented with this simple lever-based design. And it just has a lever to lever the marbles up, and then there's this ratcheting lever here that keeps the marbles from falling back down, and you can elevate the marbles that way. But this one's a little bit ugly, so my next version is this one here. So this pump works very much the same way, and to get the marbles further up, I made these blocks that plug into here to guide the marbles further up the stack, and that's how they get elevated. But the problem with this one is it's not based on a 32mm increment, so I came up with a new design, and I printed that plan one-to-one with SketchUp, but you can hardly read some of the dimensions, and it wasted a lot of ink, and it's really coarse. I don't know why SketchUp prints so bad one-to-one. So I printed it from a screenshot using my Big Print program, and I also, in my Big Print program, lightened solid area so I wasn't wasting so much ink. And this plan is based more on a 32mm increment, so it'll work out better with the dimensions of my ramps and other pieces. There's a little block of wood in here that acts as a ratchet to keep the marbles from falling back down. And for that I need to cut out a slot here, and I marked where that goes here. And I'm going to use a table saw to cut that slot out like so. There's a lever that goes in here for pushing the marbles up, and that fits in a slot in here, and I'm going to cut that out with a router on my slot mortiser. So I goofed up a little bit because I drilled this hole before I cut the notch and measured it wrong. And in here goes the little thing for the ratchet with a nail through that pin, and that's pretty tricky to line it up. And another one on here, and again a nail through the hole. And again, it's tricky to line it up, so I've got this one already put together. And I put a rubber band on here to return the lever, and another one here to return the ratchet. And now if I put a ramp on here, I'm going to have some buttons that stick out from the top here for lining up blocks that stack on top. So I'm gluing in a wedge in here to close up the top of that slot that's used for the ratchet. So I glued a block on the side here with a button on here, and this allows me to hook a ramp on here and make sure it stays aligned. And now to pump the marbles up any height, I made some of these blocks on my horizontal boring machine with a hole through the middle. And this allows me to pump the marbles up, and I can go higher by stacking more of these blocks on top. Now to get the marbles back onto the ramps at the top of the stack, I made this thing which has got a hole through it here and then a hole at an angle with a little tab here to push the marbles off to the side. So now I can put this here and a ramp hooks right onto here, And I can pump the marbles all the way up like that. This block has a second hole that's drilled in from a 45-degree angle like that. And I used my horizontal boring machine to kind of start that hole right on the corner. It would have been hard to do with a drill press. After I made some blocks like this, I realized I could simplify the design a bit. I could eliminate that tab if I just took the hole that came from the bottom and drilled it not all the way through to the top, and then drilled another hole in here to meet up with the other hole. I did have to clean up on the inside a little bit with a chisel to make that work though. I had the idea of cutting out a slot here so you can see the marbles as they rise up the column. And now let's finish this.